Guys, Dom here, welcome back. We are on day number 12, and then today we're going to talk about one thing, and that's what we simply call your optimal dose. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, optimal dose is the right dose of whatever you're going to do that's applicable to you. You see, the reason why we say optimal dose is there are lots of conflicting different views, whether you are chasing weight loss or fat loss, whether you are trying to get stronger in the gym, trying to add some size to go onto stage, or to be the best athlete that you can be in whatever sport that you are after or pursuing. There are so many different views around how much, how often, how intense, when should you break, when should you cycle off, and then we bring in terms like deload and the likes. Now, whilst I'm not necessarily one to agree in full with a lot of those things, some of them I will use myself, and I have done in the past. But more and more, particularly as I get older, and this is a hint for you young guns out there that think that you're indestructible, I'm finding that the right dose for me, each day it could be different. One day I've got a lot more energy, the next day I've got no energy. And for those of you that are parents and are either going through, as new parents, that cycle of baby still wants to get up at God knows whatever time and scream and get some fed, to kids coming into your bedroom even when they're 3 and 4 and upsetting your sleep, and therefore you've got to go and sleep on the couch to get it. Or even kids like at my age, where kids are in their teens and their 20s, and your life is somewhat revolving around making sure that as young adults they are getting the best, and you still want the best. Now, some may criticize people like me for doing too much for them, but shit, I'm a dad, I'm a parent, that's what I think I should do. When they go out to the wild wicked world, they will do it and they will find their dose. See, I brought that back together. So what's the optimal dose? Well, that comes down to the individual. For me, it starts off at a minimum of 30 minutes of activity a day, and I'll use that because I go back to, I'm a kid of the 60s, so I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and we had life be in it. I've referenced Norm and Libby a few times on my posts, and that was what it was. It was 30 minutes of activity every day. Get out, walk the dog, throw a ball, go for a walk with your missus, your kids, get off the bus, I'll stop sooner, get on the train, I'll stop later, whatever the case is, and walk back, take the stairs, not the escalator, those types of things. That's what it was all about, and that optimal dose for me hasn't changed. So at a minimum, every day I do something for 30 minutes. Now, if it's a busy day and I'm on the computer staring at the blue screen trying to learn something, I'll still get in my 30 minutes, but I'll do that 30 minutes. For me, it is 30 minutes in the morning and it's 30 minutes at night, and I'll break that up. So for example, today, we've already trained a few people and we've been moving whilst we're doing that. I've already taken the dogs for their first walk, their cattle dogs. They need at least 2, and that's at least 30-35 minutes. I've just finished my workout in here, and that's a good 40-45 minutes, and that's today's session. The session yesterday was 55, nearly 60. Right? Some days it's just 10. It's whatever I feel like, but either way, it's my optimal dose. So from me to you, what you need to do when you're doing this plan thing that we've been working on, and we're going to continue to work on till the end of this month of January, is I want you to go back and work out really what's your optimal dose. Now, how have I got tools? Have we talked about tools for this? Yes, we have. We did that 4 quadrant before. We talked about up here being the goals. Over here, we talked about the resources that we were going to have. Down here, we talked about the things that we needed to move, shift, get away from. And then down here, we talked about all the bullshit excuses that we're going to use. Now, my optimal dose, I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to take one of these, and it could be the one that says, I don't have time. Bollocks. You have fucking time, because you're spending time swiping left and right and up and down on devices during the day at work, at home, so you can make the frickin' time. Again, in the morning, get up a little bit earlier. That might mean go to bed a little bit earlier. God forbid, that actually works and helps you out too, because you might get more rest. You might wake up feeling better and not like a grumpy old bastard. Or a person who wakes up in the morning and feels like shit because you took the 6 beers to put you into a coma before you went to sleep, because you needed to take the fucking edge off. The not enough time excuse is a classic example of making sure that you get an optimal dose. Prove to yourself that it is possible to get in the stuff that is important to you, right? It is important, particularly as we age, as we get older. If you're a 20 or 30 and you think you're indestructible, like I said before, man, you got a smack in the face coming when you get a little bit older. For some of you, it'll happen even earlier now. Look down. If you can't see your toes, you got a problem. Optimal dose is about finding out what works for you. I'll love to sit and work with you to find out what is your optimal dose. For some people, you're gonna have to work a shitload harder when you first start. You're gonna have to put the bloody effort in, because that effort's gonna help you break all the bullshit cycles that you've gone through before to stop you from even getting started in the first place. So you might need to put in an hour a day, and you might need to do that 5, 6, 7 days a week. You only need to do this 3 days a week? Bullshit. You need to do it as many days a week as you see fit, so that you feel good about you and how that gets you to that goal in the time that you set. These 28-day challenges, they rely upon you coming in and smashing yourself and plastering up against a fucking brick wall to prove a point. And to prove the point that you've gone from zero to hero super goddamn fast, and you are shagged and you need them, and therefore you will sign up after that. And then you'll go into, we'll do 3 or 4 days a week, and they'll tell you that when they should have told you that in the freaking first place. Find your optimal dose, find out what works for you. Take in advice of others, but do what works for you. If I said to you that the only way that you're going to get strong is you are going to deadlift your body weight 100 times every single day for the next 100 days, you know what? It would probably work. But you're going to probably get to day 4 or day 5 or day 6 if you've never done this stuff before, and you'll have screwed your back. You'll be spending time with the physio, the chiro, the osteo, the Julio. So therefore, find out what works for you. Partner with someone, get a colleague, a spouse, a child, get a professional, get someone to help you. Someone that's going to not tell you, you can't do this and you can't do that, but they're going to say, within this context of what you have happening with you right now, if you are injured, you can still do A, B, C, D, skip F, G, H, and do the rest of the goddamn alphabet, because that will still get you along the way to your goals versus parking up and never coming back. So your optimal dose, today's a bit of a rant, but it's simple. Find out what works for you. Go back in that plan that we've been writing and work it out. Have you started already? You should have. We did that last week. Did you string 2 days in a row? Did you string 3 days in a row? Or did you do 1 day and go, fuck it, I've had enough? If so, go back. You need to string 3 or 4 or 5 days in a row before you even think about saying, fuck it again. And then getting back in, and then somewhere along those lines, work out what's right for you. And from me to you, if you don't think that you can handle 30 minutes a day, you've got a bigger problem.